exceptionally well. I'm coming to you not in my highest or best. Let's see if we are connected. And there we are. I have food poisoning. So I'm home with luckily, my roommates are doctors and medical doctors and nurses. And over the past couple of days, I've been feeling really low energy, very, very tired. My stomach's been bothering me the whole entire time. And I'm not the one that typically gets sick in any kind of way. Um, but this one has taken me out. So I'm also looking at it from a physical perspective, what's going on here. And it may be another sign of me needing to take my health to a whole nother level, particularly from a food, not that I eat badly, but the past couple of weeks I haven't probably been eating the greatest. Obviously, COVID's got me at home just enjoying food. And I'm a great cook, by the way. Um, and so I think that's been part of it. And then I'm also looking at it from what's going on with my glasses? Looking at it from an energetic, spiritual perspective. And I also know that when you are on the brink of an up level, your body starts to change. Now, from a chakra perspective, it's that's my third chakra. So we know that that's your solar plexus. I think that's what it is. And that has a lot to do with your identity, your personality, your sense of wealth and abundance. And I'm doing a lot of shifting there because I believe that this whole coronavirus stuff is God's way of helping us reset and get very clear about who we are and why we're on this planet and the impact we're supposed to make for our family, community, and the world, and how we're going to not only claim it, because I think a lot of us have had these kinds of conversations with different coaches and speakers that was time to claim it, but I want to go deeper. It's time to possess it, to take possession of it. So hi, Jenna. Give me a second, sweetie. So what I'm doing is continually shifting in my own life. I know all of you are shifting in your life just as well as we make some powerful decisions how to show up in our power. And so part of being successful CEOs of our own life is taking care of our body, our soul, our spirit. And that's something that I'm being held accountable to. So during this interview, if you see me kind of lagging in my energy, that's why I've been sick for the past couple of days. But I didn't want to cancel this because I also want to know that this time is our time to take some steps back, to reset, and to pivot, particularly for those of you who are business owners, who are entrepreneurs, who feel that you are called to make a bigger impact in the world with your brand new message in your business. And a large part of doing that is building your audience, building your community, and building your list. And so I met Jenna. Actually, Jenna and I connected in another women's group, and she invited me to her group. I said, sure. She's adorable in the group that we were connected in, which I think is the Women's Helping Women Entrepreneur, Women Entrepreneurs Helping Women Entrepreneurs group. I think that's a huge group. It has like over 187,000 women in that group. It's pretty big. How we connected was, divine. And I just liked her spirit. I loved her presence. She said, would you be interested in joining my group? I said, sure. Got into her group. And I think when I joined, if I remember correctly, I was one of the newer ones in the group. She didn't have that many women in there, maybe like 100 and some odd. And I swear it seemed like I blinked and there was like 5,000 women in the group. I'm like, what the hell did you do? And then she added me to another group that she's in. And again, I came in at the beginning and then boom, it went to 8,000. So she's got a gift. I think part of it's just her presence, her spirit, and the beauty that comes from her. And the heart of giving that I have seen in her so hugely, which I think a lot of people don't have. I don't mean that negatively, but some people have a gift for it and others have to work at it. I think Jenna is one of those individuals who has a gift at it. It naturally comes out of her and she magnetizes these opportunities. And so she's here today to talk to you about this because while we're in this reset moment, this is your opportunity to understand why having a Facebook group is so powerful, some of the techniques that she's willing to share with you to help you build your own, Facebook group. I'm going to hire her. So would you just build mine? I'll hire you to do it. It'll be a lot easier. And then from there, just getting you prepared to think about in the future. So this is me being very intuitive. This is me being very divine or psychic, whatever word you want to use. lovingly, I say, if you are paying attention from a spiritual divine perspective, and if you are paying attention to what's happening in the business world, you're listening to the coaches who are very successful right now. Right now is the time to pivot your business in a very powerful way, and you don't have a whole lot of time. The time frame you have is probably between now and October. You're looking at that time frame where you can put things into place. You can kind of fiddle around a little bit. But if you notice, it's May 20th. I don't know about you, but I think it's going by extremely fast. Like each month is disappearing very quickly. And we're coming to the close of the second quarter within a few weeks. So right now is the time to really be intentional and strategic about your business. And so one of the ways to do that is to build your own group. It's probably one of the most powerful ways to do that on Facebook. So Jenna, thank you, sweetie, for giving me that moment to kind of talk about what this is all about, talk about me, and introduce you a little bit. So thank you, honey.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
I can. If you can turn up your volume just a tiny bit more, it'll probably be a little bit clearer.
Let's see.
It's probably on your own computer. So if you turn up your volume on your computer, it'll actually come through louder on Zoom.
All right.
See, there you go. Much better. Yay. So, Jenna, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for our sisterhood and just the beauty of who you are and how, as such a young, you're a young lady compared to me, and you have done exceptionally well in your business. And I just thought, here's a young woman who I think is rocking it. Like I'm watching her from a distance and going, she's killing it. Every time I turn around, she's got these groups filled with, and not just a lot of people, because there's one thing to have a group with a lot of people. It's a whole nother thing to have a group that's engaged. That's one of the reasons why I really would look forward to this group becoming more engaged, because that's where our power as women is really going to take us to a whole nother level. And from a spiritual and energetic level, it starts to change the mindset, our actual physiological brain and energy DNA starts to change. So you have a group that is changing dramatically on a regular basis. So before we get started and all these questions I want to ask you, would you be willing to introduce yourself and talk about the two groups or the three groups or the nine? I don't even know how many groups you have. I'm sure you have quite a few.
Thank you so much, Anita. Thank you for having me here. Every time I see you, you're just glowing.
Oh, thank you.
And hearing your words are so healing, and everyone you touch, their lives just get better. I just love seeing you.
Thank you, sweetie.
Thanks for having me here today. I'm a business and mindset coach. I do a lot of different things, but today I'd like to focus on the groups, just because it now, like you're saying, is such a great time to begin growing your group. People are at home, they're willing to engage, they're looking for different opportunities. So when everything first started with the pandemic, I was like, oh, maybe I should, be a little more quiet, but everyone's doing so well. So it's the time to hop on. It's the time to expand and do something outside of you. So I was just so excited to share how I grew this group because it kind of just happened. But it used skills that I'm an acupuncturist too. So it used some of those skills of being able to take someone from where they are and match it to what they need and help them see the steps.
I love that. So let me make just two things. One, if you can speak just a tiny bit louder where you are. And then two, did you say you were an acupuncturist? Yeah, I'm like, oh, see, that's cool, and she's close by, so I'm like, okay, I know exactly where I'm going once we get to this whole COVID thing. So I'm like, oh, awesome. So I guess my first question is to you is, what groups do you have, and what do you offer in each of these groups, so that women can understand? And if you would be willing, how many women are in each of these groups?
Yeah, so I have my Boss Babes group, and the title is Boss Babes Share Your Business, Grow and Teach. So one of the things I teach is that to be very clear what people are going to get out of your group. Because if it's just your name, people will know you're selling something, but like your group is titled perfectly. You have that sense of power and that radiates from you. So I just think it's beautiful. So that group just hit 8,000. So I'll talk about that.
In a short period of time. That's what drives me bonkers. So I'm like, wait, she did this in, I think, less than what, 6-7 months?
Something like that. I had 5,000 at 5 months for sure.
Yeah.
And then I also run a water business as a water distributor, which is really amazing. It helps your body feel so refreshed. And that group, I think, is between 200 and 300. I haven't worked on it a whole bunch just because the boss babes is taking off.
Yeah.
If the universe presents you with something, just go with it. And, you know, my heart's in both. So I'm just kind of showing up where I'm asked to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
So cute. Oh, she's just so cute to me. Even though I'm like, I feel like, whoa, I just can't help but smile. So my cheeks are burning. So tell us why having a group for a business owner is important from your perspective. Why should women start to have their own group, not only participating in a group, but having their own group?
Yeah, so these are great questions. I think groups are so important because they show more in people's feeds than a personal page. I heard something like 7% of your audience views your stuff from a business page, whereas a group, it's much bigger.
Yeah.
If they're interacting with your group a lot, they're alerted every time you post. Like, so it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So it's way more engagement. If you do lives, everyone's notified. So it's just really amazing. It's more intimate and personal too, because it's kind of a private space if you have a private group.
Yeah. So those of you who are been following me for a while, we started off with all kinds of names for groups because I understood the power, and I think most of you all know I have a background as a psychologist, and so I understood the power of people gathering together, and I like the term gathering the most. But of course, I can see even through my own iteration that certain things weren't hitting from a name perspective. So you really did have to create a name that actually cause women to see what they're going to get out of it. So this group, like you said earlier, Power Her Success, really came right before COVID, like right at the beginning of it when I launched it, because I saw everybody falling into fear and anxiety and worry. And I'm like, hey, when you do that, you lose your power. And so when you lose your power, you can't magnetize and attract in the things that you want. And if the future is supposed to be female, why are all these women going backwards then forward? So my calling and part of my personality is just to help you stay in your power, or not only stay in it, but really redefine it now, and then stay in it from a very powerful perspective, so that when we are released to get back to life, you magnetize opportunities to you easily because you're in your power. I get asked a lot about speaking, and I get it because I have a lot of energy, except for today. And that magnetizes people to me, and that's about power. So, what you're saying, basically, to bring this all back to this conversation, is how you are showing up in your own life is how you're probably going to show up in your business. And then how you show up in your business is how you're going to attract the people that most align with you. So, I think every single one of you, if you feel that you've got a brand, a message, or a business, or even a product that you want to share with the world, you should have some sort of a group. And even if for those of you who do MLNs, you should probably have a group for your business as well, but learn how to balance it from a how do I help them with mindset? Because mindset's going to always be the number one issue. I promise you. I don't care what background you've got, you can talk about mindset and then talk about your product. So there you have it. Would you agree, Jenna?
Yeah, I just feel like if you share what you're passionate about, people will feel it. So even I hope your product, you know, that people are selling is good, but people will just buy things for you being you. And I had that
Yeah.
they didn't even know what I could do, and I would just share my love of it, and they would be like, "What? Just sign me up. Let's just do
Yeah.
it."
Yeah. What are some of the techniques that you use to build an 8,000, membership pretty active too? Because that's the other question I want to ask you is how did you get them so engaged? Because sometimes people just join groups because they are there to support you. Sometimes it's the name. Sometimes you can tell that they're watching, but they may not be as engaged. So how did you grow the group and how do you create the engagement?
Yeah, so I have 5 tips today.
Good.
So I just wanted to make it super practical so that everyone could have it and everyone could start building their own group. So the first tip is a good name, which we already kind of went over. So what are they going to get out of it? Because if it's just about you, they're going to know you're just selling stuff and they probably won't hop in. Whereas if it's a of service name, there's 4 reasons why people would join my boss face group. 1, because it's Boss Babes. 2,
Yeah.
because you can grow your business. 3, because you can learn. And 4, because you can teach. So I was like, I'm just going to create a name where like any entrepreneur would probably want one of those at least. And
Which
that
is
kind of
brilliant.
it's like, how do I just get people in here where they know they're going to get something out of it, where there's value for them too? Like you said, talking about mindset and stuff like that. If you have something that's powerful that can benefit them, whether they buy from you or not, they'll hop in. And then eventually they get to know you and trust you, and things go really well from there. And my second tip, so the first tip is just a good name. My second tip is honestly in the beginning, it was my work that made it happen. So for a lot of successful women, people were like, oh, she's so lucky, or oh, she did that, you know, or oh, she has this. And maybe we all have different strengths, you know, that we're good at. But I honestly added 10 friends per hour per day, like 5 times a day. So I was going into groups where it was okay and looked for entrepreneur friends. I had different like target groups and went into different groups. And then you know how there's like a suggested friends part of your
Yeah.
Facebook? So then they just started popping up, and I knew, yeah, she's an entrepreneur. She's probably an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Not really easy. So if I was in line to get, I love chai lattes, even though they're not the healthiest thing. If I was in line to get something, I'd be adding 10 friends. If I was waiting for work, I was working at that point. Basically, I was just adding 10 friends before work, 10 friends at lunch, 10 friends at the end of lunch.
So, I mean, that's very powerful actually, because if one of my social media support persons who was here before used to say, Anita, with all the people that you have, you should be inviting people every single day. And sometimes they're going to, automatically sign up, and sometimes they're not. Because even right now, I think my friends list on Facebook is like 200 and some odd, because I haven't taken the time to go through each and every, because I want to, at least investigate. Now there's a part of me that says, oh, just accept them all. Who cares? Except the men. You want to be a little bit more cautious for the men. But what I'm trying to say is, if you are a businesswoman who's wanting to build your audience, your community, based on what you just said, is you have to actively do it. You've got to be participating in an activity that's going to bring you the clients and help you make the impact that you're going to make, because that's what we want to do as well, right?
Yeah.
We have to be actively involved in growing our community.
Definitely. That's how I feel, at least. And then it's more personal too. And then I showed them, like, this is exactly how this group will help you. If you want to hop in, awesome. If not, like, I love what you're doing, type of a thing. So that really helped too, because when you invite people to your group, if it's old, they may not know what they're getting, even with a great title. But if
Yeah.
you can, like, maybe someone, you say, oh my gosh, is this your business? What is it about? And then they share and say, oh my gosh, I have this group. It'll help you with X, Y, and Z. If you want to hop in, awesome. If not, like, all much love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want those things, So it was just kind of like a fun way. I like to do things that are fun. So
Yeah.
even though it's just silly and playful, and it still adds value or lights up someone's life. So
I actually think I've seen your group and you've posted some really interesting questions and get a lot of engagement. I'm like, that's a great question. Boom, go share it over here. I'm like, I really love that. And I'll say, thanks, Jenna, because that was a good one. So I think that's okay to do that, and at least acknowledge the person who asked the question, or at least if you're going to come up with a different version of it, just that can support you too in getting the kind of engagement you've gone. So that's really great. I think you're on number 4 now, or number 5?
Sorry, so number 3 is exactly what you're saying for engaging. I ask questions that people are excited to engage in. So which celebrity represents your business? Post a gift or post an
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, so I'm always watching everyone too. What's yours?
That's what I was like, that's a great question. I think the only person I can think of is Oprah, obviously. In my mind, I'm like, yeah, Oprah, she's still the one. Or maybe Wendy Williams. Yeah. I like her too. She's kind of the fun side of me, where Oprah's is the serious side of me. So if I could find the combination of the two, that would probably be me.
So yeah, and then I created freebies where people would invite friends. So I think that's a good way to spike your algorithm too, is have people inviting other people. And
That's
then
smart.
that's second.
Now, kids, before you go on, so you offer a gift to those who invite people in the group, and if they get approved, do you mind sharing what your gifts are?
Yeah. So I have the Love Bubble PDF. So it's to love your product so much that other people will too. So
I like that. I like that. That's smart.
so I just have fun with it. I just, I'm just me. I'm more goofy and stuff in certain ways or sweet in certain ways. So I tend to just kind of expand off of that. And this is something I would want. Because a lot of times I see people posting things and it's not what they would want if you really looked at it. So
Yeah.
it's just making sure what you're sharing is something you would be interested in hearing. It's harder to think about, and I don't
Yeah.
always. I'm going to be honest with you, but I try my hardest too.
That's actually good. You just gave me an idea, and I'm like, okay. I need to work on something. I've got something that I've been sitting with for a while, and now you just confirmed it. So I'm like, all right, let's get that done. So thank you for the inspiration, the kick in the butt.
So that's how I just create something fun that someone would want and where they'd be willing to take the time to invite friends.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful.
Sometimes no one does it, I'm going to be honest with you, and other times like 5 people do it and they all invited 10 people. And then I notice that after that happens, I get 50 requests from random people because Facebook found them. And so it's just spiking the algorithm as much as you can and commenting as much as you can.
Yeah.
Really, I think Facebook really, even though it's an algorithm, it's seeing who's actually engaging with their group.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with you too. That's one of the things too. I keep offering to you guys, and it's definitely available to everybody in this group. I don't mind. I would interview every single one of you in this group. One, because I love interviewing people, and it helps me learn more about you. Two, because I'm well connected. So if you have such certain type of business, I can say, "Ooh, let me introduce you to such and such," because that can open up doors. Because I understand the power of joint ventures and partnerships. I get them a lot. I'm a part of them. I create them in my own business, and I am invited to quite a few myself. And I think it's a great way to really highlight more women. Like right now, we're working on getting the I'm Enough magazine, and I want to highlight at least 5 to 10 women in that magazine every single month. We've got a large magazine audience already. It's over 187,000, I think. Actually, maybe higher than that. And so we want to relaunch it and highlight each and every one of you, those of you who are willing to show up in that kind of way. So I share that because here's an opportunity to be a part of Jenna's group and get not only the opportunity to be in a large group and watch her do her magic, but also be able to share your own business with her, which is so powerful there. And be interviewed and be seen. And that's another thing, is so many of you need to be seen at a much higher level if you're willing to allow yourself to be seen at a higher level. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to interview Jenna. Is I'm like, she's got a large group, but I don't know if a lot of people know how amazing this young lady is. And I'll do my part in helping her get to this. She's sweating over here. Poor little thing. I'm making her sweat. But I just think I've talked to her directly, and I've witnessed her expertise, and just seen, someone like that, like her, is someone I want to share with the world. And I believe that's part of my calling on this planet, is to create the platforms that allows you as women to be seen so that your business can grow, and to help you structure your business in a very powerful way. As I'm going into my next level, I've gotten very clear about what I'm supposed to do next and who I'm supposed to be hanging around, and those doors are opening, and I'm finally walking through them. And so I'm one of those individuals who wants to pull as many people with me, because I'm an extrovert, if you haven't noticed. I'm an ambivert, so I go both sides, but I'm more on the extroverted side. And I like bringing women with me. I like bringing people with me. I like seeing other people be successful. It's a huge turn on for me. So that's why I can look at her and go, oh, there's some women in here who would benefit from you. Let's get you on there. She's like, I've never. And I'm like, no, you'll be fine. Come on. Like, okay, I trust you, Anita. Like, oh, good. So get in here and let's have you interview. So let's talk a little bit more about why. What's your why? What's your why in life, and why for your business, i.e., your Facebook group?
Yeah, so my why, I'm a natural teacher and I love community. I thrive in community. I love being of service. I'm working on the people pleaser side of things, but I think I finally found my healthy boundaries.
Good.
It took some time, but that's okay. But I just love that sense of everyone giving. For me, it makes my heart sing when everyone feels nourished and taken care of and like they have the support around them. So
Yeah.
I can literally, I just glow. That's where I glow.
So see, remember what I said earlier? I think she's got the natural gift of giving. So that's a spiritual DNA. So she was, I think, divinely gifted with that gift. And she just described him like you just used all the words that someone who's divinely gifted with would say. It makes me thrive. Like absolutely. So it's in her DNA. It's a part of who she is. But it can be taught. And a part of the being taught is the more you can identify your why, and then that why shows up in your energy, that's what's going to magnetize your group. And so I probably need to do a better job in our group to tell all of you ladies why. I mean, of course, the coronavirus kind of brought it forward, but my deeper why for each and every one of you is that I know that it's a woman who's the cornerstone of anything in life. She is the cornerstone. She is the strongest piece of the family, of the community, of the world. And if she can get back into her spiritual divinity and then from there use her gifts and talents and her natural ability of being a woman in her life and in her business, we can change this planet. We can create that tipping point. So my job is to help you get as clear as possible from the mindset and from the spiritual dynamic of who you are so that you can show up and be successful. And then in that, you can launch your own group and just magnetize people to them because you're able to be a boss babe and you're teaching them and you're leading them and you're guiding them to their next highest level. Did you see how I did that? Did you guys like that? I like that. Right? We love all that. So tell me, what's been the most challenging aspect of having a Facebook group, and what did you do to correct it?
Yeah, so my biggest challenge is I'm all about uplifting and supporting people. So I know in certain women groups, people like to like confront each other and start little spats and stuff like that. Largely, it's been totally fine. I have had to put out 4 different moments where this occurred.
Yeah.
So I try to do it with love, and explain, we're here to support each other. If you want to do that, please take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's just a safe space. And that's actually what I appreciate about you. I know you're talking about your gift. I do hide in the corners. You are bringing me out.
I'm like, yeah, no, come here. If you don't want to be seen, don't hang around me because I'm going to pull you forward in a heartbeat, especially if I see talent. Especially if I see talent.
So thank you so much. But yeah, that's probably been my biggest thing is like, everyone can have their opinion, but let's be respectful. But
Yeah.
different people, their idea of what's impolite is different. So it's just kind of like managing those wavelengths and trying to make everyone feel welcome and like they're being heard, but also not dragging the group down with.
Yeah. And I think you've done it well because since I've been in the group and like you said, getting those notifications, I've never really witnessed any kind of offset in your group. Now I was a part of another group that was very large and it was disheartening to see so many women attack each other on a regular basis to the point that I'm like, I'm out. See ya. I don't have time to try to come in here and correct it because we have more important things to do than to work against each other as women or working against each other as human beings. There's too much to go on to deal with that kind of energy.
There's a bunch of women that were saying they were queens and this is the way to do things. I'm like, please be a queen and straighten another woman's crown. Like,
yeah. Yeah, don't kick her. Don't knock her down. Just say, honey, your crown is crooked. Let's get that back on top. That's how I am. I'm one of those kind of individuals like, sit down. Let's help you rise again. Let's get you back off. Let's dust you off. Now, if you want to stay funky for a while, I'll sit there and watch you. And when you're ready to come up, I'll pull you back up in a heartbeat. Yeah. That's just me. If you were to share your greatest lesson that you've learned in your life and the greatest lesson you've learned that helps you lead your business to the highest level of success that you have it now, what would that greatest lesson be?
I think just learning to be Jenna, to be honest with you. I've been such
great answer.
Yeah, that sorry, I have a notification that came up. but I've followed so many different people. I've lifted so many leaders up. It was time for me to finally do it for myself. Yeah, so thank you. And I've just been so grateful to have met people like you who have helped me. They haven't been like, please do this for me. This is the way it's got to be, or these are, what you should do. It's people reflecting back how I feel in myself, and that's been really beautiful. The more I become myself, the more people reflect the truth instead of what they think I should be, like today with you. So it's just been really powerful. It's scary because I tend to hide a little bit, but I really appreciate that process, and through that it gives me confidence. And I've been able to do a lot of like one-on-one sessions, and I have a course that's going to come out soon, so I'm really excited for that too. So just I'm starting to meet more powerful women like you who like reflect leadership. It's not I'm above or you're below. It's more just like this grid, like you're saying, that will tip everything. I'm gonna get like
Aw, I love it. I think that was such a fantastic answer, Jenna, because that's really where I failed and then learned to heal and thrive, is getting to a place where I can say, there comes a point where, yes, you're going to be influenced by your family, by your outside environment, by your school, by your job, by your religion. All of those things are going to influence you, and rightfully so. They should be. But it comes down to a point where you have to make a decision. That word decision means to reach a definite conclusion. That you're going to just be you. And sometimes we get it early. Thank God you're getting it earlier in life. And other times you get it a little late. I'm one of those late bloomers. But I learn quickly, and I shift very, very quickly, which is one of my gifts. I can see a problem. I know how to go through it, to go over it, around it, through it in a very quick way to the other side. One of my things I used to say as a psychologist to my clients, and I guess it got out to the world, I'm Jonah in the Bible, not Jonah, Joseph, and I can get you to the promised land. I'm like, I will get you to the promised land because I'm kind of stubborn that way. As long as you stick with me, I'll get you to the other side. Now, I'm not going to tell you to go my way because I'm going to be on the side talking you through it, not ahead of you, to the best of my ability. So, and I love watching brilliance in other people. It fascinates me. That's one of the reasons why I think I'm a psychologist, because I'm fascinated with why some people are successful and why others aren't. And if can I be a part of the process of bringing a light? I know you guys are looking at Jenna and you can see it, you can feel it, you can sense it. It's in her. And if we are really going to change the future trajectory for women, it means reaching back to a young woman like her and saying, I see something. If you'll let me pull you forward. Like, she doesn't know this, but I'm like, you need a podcast, you need a book, you need to get on some stages. We got some stuff coming that I want to say, connect it to her because there's something there. Does it make sense? And I'm looking, you guys don't even know. I'm looking at all of you in this. I am lovingly looking at all of you in this group and saying, who really is ready to show up? Who wants to go big? And doing the work that I need to do within my own self just as well. Have I arrived? Absolutely not. Am I multimillionaire? Not yet. Will be, but not yet. Why? Because I still have to heal too. I still have to make some adjustments in my own life and deal with my own little stories. I'm not perfect, but I do move quick because there's time is too short to sit in one place for too long. Although I've been sitting for the past couple of days because I feel horrible. But not so bad that I'm not here and present with Jenna and present with all of you, because this is what these interviews are all about on Wealthy Wednesday, is to bring you information and resources and people that you can connect to, that you could fall in love with, like with Jenna, and get that kind of support and show up in our group. So Jenna, once again, would you be willing to share the name of your group and even share a link in the video below so that ladies can join? I'm not going to be one of those like, you can't be in other groups. Join a group. You know, you support each other. This is how we actually rise in a very powerful kind of way. Would you be willing to share?
it sure sounds good. I know I was taking too long. Can I just share the last two
Oh
chapters?
yeah, please. And it's probably me talking more. It has nothing to do with you. That's all me.
Because I think they're super powerful. I don't mean to like go backwards. I'm sorry, but
No, don't ever apologize.
yeah. So the main thing that I think can really help your group too in terms of sales is to have units. So change your group to social learning and general studies. Yeah.
Hey, I just learned something new.
So that you can have units that you can teach in and direct people to, and at the end of those units, you can have your app. So when you have people come into your group, you know how you can do like a welcome all the new members. Say, hey, in units there's some free training, and then they do the training, get to know you, and at the end there's the offer. So you can always be directing people to the unit as a funnel to your funnel.
Jenna, I love you right now because you just taught me something I was not doing. I'm like, really? I didn't know that. Watch this group change in a couple of weeks, couple of days.
So I'll put that in. Do I put it in this chat, Anita, in the Zoom chat?
Yeah, if you have the link, go ahead and put it in the chat or write if in the video. We can't see the chats here. I'll look at the phone later, but if you have the ability to add that link, please by all means do. I don't know if there's anyone. Are there any questions by any chance? Do you see them?
I can look. Let me. Sorry, I tend to be. I can only do one thing sometimes.
Yes, I was just focusing on you. So we do have a lot of comments in here. Aw. Does she ask? Okay, so we have a couple questions. Do you mind if I shoot them at you? All right. So one came from Laura Garza, and her question is, does she announce her new members to the group? Every single week or every once a month, I try to welcome every single new member that comes in. And once a month, I try to identify who the top contributors are so they get some visibility in that kind of way. What about you, Jenna?
So I usually wait till I have about over 100 new people because it looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
Wow. So, but otherwise, yeah, I just do it about every other week. I've been holding off because my course is coming, so I'm trying to if the numbers are piling up. But yeah, I think that's so important, and I love honoring the top members because they've just put so much heart into your group. So yeah, I would say, when you have a good, healthy amount that makes you feel good, I would, for me, wait till then. But I like the weekly.
So that was the only question we have so far. From Laura, we have quite a few other women who are here they're commenting on how beautiful you are. They're commenting on your smile. They're commenting on how amazing you are. So we really just love you, Jenna, for your time and your energy to be here. Is there anything else you want to share before we kind of close down our time together?
I think something you and I share is community and just being yourself. So just honoring that, and you and everyone here, just to be you. And it does change. It's scary, and things fall apart before they fall together, but it's the strongest, most beautiful thing to do.
Beautiful, beautiful statement. So, ladies, again, I think Jenna just put the link in her group. I totally invite you to join that, to show up there. And then again, here, there's some things that I want to do to really support each and every one of you become successful in your personal life as well as in your business, particularly in your business, because we just need more women in leadership. We need more women who are making high six figures. We need more women who are speakers. We need more women who are publishers and publishers and publish. We just need more women and women of color. And so I know that I've got the platforms, I've got the connections to make that happen. And so I really do want to support each and every one of you. And we'll definitely have Jenna, doing some training and some stuff in the group, because that's one of the things I want to do with her. She doesn't know that. You now know that. I just wanted to see how she'd respond first. I'm like, okay, she's wonderful. So we're going to pull her in and start having some other conversations, because there's some bigger things that we want to do next year when we are released to getting back to life as our new normal. And we just need more women who are in the forefront making a powerful impact for our family community in the world, from as young as Jenna is to as old as I am, and moving forward. And so this is just going to be a whole lot of fun. So Jenna, I absolutely love you and adore you so, so very much. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here and to share your brilliance. I am very honored by you.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you for the beauty you pull out of everything. You can just feel it in your air. So thank you so much.
Thank you, love. All right, powerful women. Thank you so much for your time and your energy. Please, watch this video, replay. If you have some questions in there, Jenna will respond. I'll respond. Next week, we have, if I remember correctly, we have Laura Garza, actually. We have my friend, longtime friend, Laura Garza, who is an event producer. She's going to talk to you about how to create virtual and live events for your business, why you need to do them, all the dynamics you need to understand, and creating events that creates an experience so that you can start preparing yourself for next year. This is going to be huge. Laura has helped me with my events, and I know that she's going to be able to powerfully help you with your events. And she's worked with some really major events out there that, I'll let her share that with you. And we're just going to have a fantastic conversation. Again, every one of these interviews, I'm bringing women to you and maybe a few good men along the way who will support you in rising in your power so that you can make some powerful decisions and taking your life, your business to a whole nother level so that you can make the kind of impact that you are on this planet to make. With so much love for each and every one of you. God bless. Bye-bye. Bye, Jenna.
Bye.